let's take you back to one of our top stories. Of course, messages of condolences still pouring in for struggle stalwart and anti-apartheid activist Aziz Pahad. Pahad died yesterday at the age of 82. Funeral arrangements are yet to be communicated by the family. Let's take you to senior reporter Aviwe Mtila, who's standing by as he drives around for reaction. Aviwe, it makes sense that you'd go and speak to the Thabo Mbeki Foundation. Quite personal for him, as this is the younger brother to his best friend, who also passed away just a few months ago.
Not only in the comradely manner, in the political sense that they shared in exile and also in democratic South Africa, but also in a personal sense. And it must be hard for former President Thabo Mbeki losing both the Pahad brothers just in the space of 2 months. Of course, he's not in the country, currently in Geneva, but let's just get some reaction from the Thabo Mbeki Foundation, who it must be difficult for as well. Mama Dean Fraser Moleketi, thank you for joining us at eNCA, and condolences, not only to the former president, but to you yourself. Have you spoken to the former president just to find out how he's doing?
No, I've not personally spoken to the former president since the passing of Deputy Minister Aziz Pahad, but we're all deeply conscious of the fact that this is a very difficult moment. They've had a friendship that spanned close to 6 decades, where their connection was both around the African National Congress, but it was one that was based on a shared intellect, a deep sense for social justice, a sense of camaraderie, friendship, and just the ability to engage, knowing that you were working with someone that was there, that was steadfast both in terms of the philosophical underpinnings of what made them believe in what the future should look like, but a deep bond that was one of great trust and deep friendship.
But not only the former president, you yourself had a relationship of some sort, whether it be working or a personal level, with the former deputy minister. Maybe take us through your personal relationship and maybe how you're doing.
Well, as I said, it's a difficult time for everyone, and that relationship was very clearly within the movement, a much shorter period than that of President Thabo Mbeki. My interaction with him was since the 80s, where we were involved in common structures, both in the African National Congress as well as the South African Communist Party, in government later, and subsequently as part of the Thabo Mbeki Board of Trustees. And I must say that it is no exaggeration that to the Board of Trustees itself, this is a great loss. We had here, as he was described, a consummate diplomat, someone who believed that to solve problems and to work towards peace is won through negotiation, and difficult negotiations as well. A person who was committed in renewing the African National Congress and knowing the importance of this movement to the people of our country. A person who always saw the need to work towards world peace and justice, to turn around this global economic reality as we see it right now. So this is a deep loss. We don't have many of the ilk of Comrade Aziz left at this point.
Very important point that you bring across there. But what can we as South Africans maybe take a book out of Aziz Pahad's life?
I think for us is a life of selflessness, a life of service, and he's in his own book that he wrote, he talks about himself as a servant leader. He talks about, the role of diplomacy and the kind of diplomat that one needs to be, one that looks at solving problems. So we don't just see the negative, but we also look at what are the solutions to be brought about and how do we contribute towards this in a real sense. And hence, in the Concerned Africans Forum, he was quite an important figure where he was looking at how we can resolve the challenges on the African continent, how we can resolve global challenges. And he was never a pessimist, because real revolutionaries are always optimistic by their mere being.
And you talk about resolving issues and challenges, maybe in the South African context. Did he ever mention what needs to be done to get us, on the right trajectory?
Well, he was part of the Veterans League of the movement, and very clearly, in terms of the trajectory that's required, he spoke about the need for introspection and a deep self-correction of the movement, and hence this commitment to renewal, and not renewal in a flippant sense, but one that says that we really need to go deep into changing what the movement has become in order to ensure that it is the future that South Africans deserve.
Thank you very much, Ma, and condolences once more to you, the foundation, as well as the patron, former President Thabo Mbeki. A need to self-introspect and a real renewal that will lead to change. Just some of the sentiments that we heard there from Geraldine Fraser-Moleketi, someone who was also close to Aziz Pahad, someone, of course, who we do know that have traveled a long journey with former President Thabo Mbeki in exile, we heard, dating back some 6 decades, and a personal friend, a close confidant of the former statesman.
All right, Aviwe Mtila live for us there. Let's leave it there for now. We actually have some new information that the team has sent me from behind the scenes here. It says, dear friends and comrades, this morning it was agreed that Comrade Aziz will have an official state and funeral, and this will be combined with an ANC funeral, followed lastly by the Muslim funeral. The funeral will be taking place at the West Park Cemetery on Saturday, and that starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. So that's the update on senior reporter Aviwe Mtila's story that he's following for us today. Let's take